I just had like this weird sense of panic, not just like I'm panicking, but it was to the point where I literally felt like I wasn't in control of my own body. So I was like actually terrified to be like by myself in like my own company. So my name is Caoimhe Clements and I'm about to graduate with my master's degree in journalism this July. I originally started my master's degree in September 2022. And then around the February 2023, I started to experience really intense panic attacks to the point where I literally had to move all the way back home, 2 hours away from North Coast, Coleraine, and basically do my master's degree completely online. So I've always sort of had like a explanation of what a panic attack was, because obviously it's like your breathing goes. I think when someone thinks of a panic attack, we think of someone who can't really breathe. When I look back now, there was definitely like a build up to it. So I remember I came home from uni that day and I just didn't feel right. I felt very like irritated and I felt very stressed, but this was a very different type of feeling that I've never felt before. And then I remember some of my friends then came over to me. Before they came over, I was actually in the middle of making dinner and I was getting so shaky to the point where I was like, I literally can't stand up because I feel like I'm about to like pass out. So they came over, we went and got food, and I thought, okay, maybe I'm just stressed, maybe I just need food and a good night's sleep. But when I came back later that night to go and eventually sleep, that's when the panic set in. I couldn't breathe properly, I was sweating, I had like trembling, couldn't breathe. Every time I stood up, I felt like I was gonna pass out. And my body was freezing to the point where I was like sitting on the floor beside my radiator with like my knees and my chest absolutely shaking. It honestly felt like I was dying. When I was going through that couple of really bad months, I went to therapy, and I'm not really one to be like, oh, like ashamed to say that. I think it was definitely one of the best things I did for myself. And I remember I said that to her, I felt like I was dying in my room. And she said that is one of the most common thoughts that someone has when they're having a panic attack. I just felt like I wasn't in control of my own body, and that went on for 3 hours to the point where I like found my mum screaming on the phone going, I don't know what's happening to me. And I was so like scared of like being by myself. And when I went home the next day, the panic attacks continued for months and months to the point where I like, went and seen my doctor and I was like, this is getting out of hand. Like I literally can't leave my house. Like at this point I'm like 25 years old and I'm too scared to do anything. I was honestly so scared to the point where I didn't want to be by myself. And I'm normally someone who loves my own company. It's like I didn't trust my body. But thankfully I've got to a place where I know things will be okay, and I don't really shut it out. Like I do have a mindset of like, okay, this might happen again in the future, and like that's okay because it will pass. I think that's the most important like piece of advice I've like learned, is that no matter if I'm feeling stressed or panicked, it's okay. I just need to let it take over my body and like let it get out of my system. If you need to like lie down for a few hours, that's okay. Just try and breathe because it just needs to get out. You need to release it in a way, but obviously we have to do that in a like healthy state. So I submitted my dissertation back in January, and it was really nice finally being able to submit it because I felt like after so long of going through struggles and just feeling a bit like traumatic and stuff, that I finally, got there in the end, and it was like a sense of relief kind of thing. So I think in my personal way, I've really understood how really important our mental health is, and just health in general. I feel like we don't really know how important it is until we're in a situation where we're forced to just put it first. I would say I have a very good, strong work ethic to the point sometimes where I did always put my work first before my health, but I'm now in a position where like I do still want to work really hard towards my goals, but at the same time, if something is going to be too negative for me, I'm going to take a step back or say no.